Hi, I did a video a little bit ago about the Wired class, and for those of you that have watched it, you saw me think about how I could make videos on the gift of command and self-assurance. So today we'll talk about self-assurance. Self-assurance talents are valuable because they keep you strong as you withstand many pressures, as you stay on course, and as you willingly claim the authority to form conclusions, make decisions, and act. So, for me, I've always been very sure of myself. And people tend to see self-assurance as arrogance. There's a difference. Your confidence level is never arrogant. What's arrogant is if you are acting as if you can handle anything without having the experience of everything. Arrogance comes from ignorance of understanding circumstances, and you don't have all the either training or experience in handling situations that may be outside your depth. But you act as if you can do it. Self-assurance and confidence is, well, I may not know how to do it, but I'm confident I can learn it. That's the difference. You're confident in your own ability to make things happen. And in many, many cases, you are the deciding factor. Only you know what you're capable of. Other people that are close to you may see things you don't and can help you and telling you and getting you to see how they see you. But overall, it comes down to you. Your choices, your conduct, how you conduct yourself. You can choose to either be an inspiration or be somebody's bad day. And for me, I'm sure I was a lot of people's bad days. But that has to do with perspective. Here's the cons. Other people may see your self-assurance as a type of pride or arrogance. Some people may criticize you when they wish that they had your confidence. Sometimes people want to get close to you because they hope that some of your confidence will rub off on them. But other people keep you away because they don't have your confidence and are afraid that you will see through them. That one. I have dealt with more jealousy. I have dealt with more people who chose different perspectives. See, some people can look at what I do and say, you inspired me. Other people, it's, I hate you. I hate you because I can't be you. I hate you because I can't be like you. And for those immature people, I have this to say. Because you take this class, you're a Christian, okay, I assume. This is what I have to say to you. If you hate me because you can't live up to my standard, you can't live up to my character, you can't be me, then what does that say about Jesus Christ? What does it say about the God you worship? If me, a human, makes you feel inferior, it makes you feel like you can't be better than what you are, than who you are, then what is the point of your walk with God? What is the point of being a Christian? See, as a Christian, we're supposed to follow God's example, Jesus' example, right? Okay. So if you can't follow a human's example, see, that's where I got the problem with it. It makes no sense. The logic there is not there. There is no reason to be jealous of somebody's success or somebody because they're not you. You're not them. When you distract yourself with other people's personalities, nice things, whatever, you are cheapening yourself, your self-worth. I've known many Christians that say they're not going to go to heaven. Why? Well, because I'm not as holy as these other people. Not everybody, but most Christians, they will put on a fake facade so that they seem more well put together. They seem like they are more holier than you, but they're not. They're fakers. They're imposters. They're not people that get it. They want to appear as if they do, but they're as shallow as a puddle. The people who have self-doubt, the people that have issues with their walk with Christ, obviously have not looked at Doubting Thomas or these other people in the Bible who struggle with their own self-worth and learn from them. I would say, because I've dealt with people like this, I would say that your value is determined by you. See, I did a sermon about this way back when. If you guys want to look at my sermons, you can go to the link in the bio of this page on YouTube, and you can watch some of my sermons on there. So, the way I always described it was this. God made you priceless, okay? You are so important that there cannot be a price on your soul, a price on you. You are priceless in God's eyes, right? Okay. Over the course of time, you will either increase your value or decrease the value of priceless. That's up to you. Your life is like a canvas. You're painting it. And the people that come to criticize you are focusing on either the areas that are not painted yet. So areas that have not been painted yet are one, areas you haven't improved in yet, or the future that hasn't been painted yet. They're judging you based off the lack of accomplishments when you're not ready for those accomplishments yet. Let me ask you something right now. You know I'm going to go for governor, right? You know that I want to be governor of Oregon. If I were to do it now, would I be prepared? No, I wouldn't be. Yeah, I may have the skill sets, I may have the knowledge, I may have certain things, but am I right now where I would be 4 years from now? Probably not. No. See, because I still have a lot of growth to go through before I can become the governor. There are some things I have to do first. For instance, I have to acquire the knowledge. I have to learn about my state. I have to learn about the state of the people. And I have to learn about how can I unite Oregon and answer all the questions that I possibly can. That's going to take time. So no, that area of my life is not painted yet. And yes, there are people who are going to criticize that. You don't have a career, you don't have money, you don't have this or that. It's not their journey. It's not their job, their place to judge my life. So what I simply say is this. You can have your opinion. And then once I have the job that makes more than you, and it has a bigger influence than you'll ever have in your life, we'll see who has the right to judge who. So people always come at you about the areas that are not painted yet. Some are the areas that are not painted, like fatherhood, motherhood, marriage. And so they come at you, right? Other areas are painted, they're done, they're set, you've worked on them. And you've spent a lot of time in your work, and you're proud of your work, right? But then someone comes along and criticizes you, your work, the work you're proud of. They've never been in your shoes. They didn't know the struggle that it took to get that piece painted. Because you wanted it perfect. You wanted it just right. Right for you. It's not their art to judge. It's not their place to judge. The Bible makes it very clear that it is God's place to judge humanity, not ours. So, the opposite is painting the canvas, your life, without a care in the world. There's no calculation, there's no careful planning, there's nothing. You're just trying to make it look pretty and show off to the world. Devaluing the life and the priceless value that God gave you. Because people, yeah, they're happy with your artwork. They're happy with you, sure. Because you make other people happy, but at what cost? At what cost? See, that's the issue I have with all these people. Is that they put all of their focus into their own talents, their own giftings, but didn't give God the credit for allowing them to have that ability. They also didn't give God the credit for their life. They also refuse to give themselves the credit sometimes. It's a very sticky thing, very messy thing to think about. Not saying that the ones that focus on their piece of art and they're trying to value their lives can't make mistakes. But what I'm saying is they're trying to keep their art, themselves, their life, priceless. While other people are cheapening and they're selling themselves. They're selling their art. They're selling their lives to something that will not give them peace or value. And that's a sad part of it. Oh, but my life is flashy. My art is flashy. Yeah. But you can use all the wonderful, pretty paint you want. Ugly is still ugly. The only issue, people who do a very thorough job of their lives, the only problem that they're going to struggle with is control. Especially if they haven't painted in that section where they gave control to God. So, I did a beautiful sermon on that dynamic, and that really got people to listen and think about their life choices. I have the self-assurance and the confidence to speak the way I speak because I've lived it. It's my experience with people. Too often we find people willing to judge you because you're different, or judge you because they have a lack of understanding. I mean, we learn that people fear what they don't understand, right? I had a hard time relating to people because of the life I chose and how I chose to make my choices. People that love to judge because they hate themselves. They judge because they want to make themselves feel better, so they look for flaws in everybody else. The happy people that are confident in their own skin and comfortable with who they are, they don't do that. They're more accepting. They're more gentle, more loving, more supportive. Why? Well, because they love themselves. And by grace of God, they've been saved. So, the people that acknowledge that they are sinners and are just trying to do the best they can in life, they don't judge. They're very sincere, very real. But these judgmental people, they are as shallow as a puddle. And that's the truth. The more materialistic you are, the less likely you are to care about other people. I know many people that are great examples of lack of manners, lack of foresight, and they don't have the self-awareness to understand that how they treat people is how those people treat them. I mean, there are some Christians out there that don't understand the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. It gets very difficult when people who know this rule play the victim. Cause and effect. Other people, they will not know this rule, and then they will play the victim. Because they expect you to be their punching bag or to be on their ignore list, but when they want you or need you or when they call you, you have to drop everything for them. No. I don't like selfish people. I don't like liars. I'm allergic to liars. I'm allergic to stupidity. I have a very bad reaction to it. But this is where someone who is selfless meets someone who is selfish. They don't get along. They don't get along because they're too different. They don't get along because they're opposites. No, they don't get along because they can't relate. See, they made different choices in life. And the selfish person will never understand that they're in the wrong, what they're doing is wrong, because they glorify themselves. The selfless person puts others first. Why? Could be that's their nature. Yeah. Could be that's what they feel comfortable with. Sure. Or it could be because they don't have the self-respect to put themselves first. Another situation could be that, well, God says to put others first, therefore I'm going to. Others will take that and they'll lessen themselves by saying, I'm supposed to put others first, therefore what I want doesn't matter, and my feelings don't matter, and I'm going to be somebody's doormat. That's an extreme. Happens. but it's an extreme take. So you got to balance it out. But if you're dealing with self-hatred, then you cannot perform correctly. Now, because of my self-assurance and my confidence, I haven't had that self-hatred. I never have, okay? I never struggled with that because I love myself. Why? Because I built up skill sets. I listened, I learned, I applied. I worked on myself. I did self-improvement for years. Because my whole focus was to always be the better man. My focus was to set the best example for my brothers. To be the kind of man that a woman will love, cherish, and marry. To be the kind of man who will raise his kids correctly, appropriately, and have their respect. I was focused on my legacy at age 12. I was focused on my goals at age 12. I knew what I wanted to be. I've always known what my calling was. The problem was I needed to hone in some skills. I needed to learn about what it's going to take. And when I was a pastor, I achieved my dream. It was a huge letdown, not because of the title and my job I was trying to work hard for. It was how that art form was being used. It was how that job was being used. I couldn't fix the corruption. I couldn't handle all these people using their influence the wrong way. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Well, apparently, you reflect, you learn from the past, you make a YouTube channel, and you teach about it, apparently. So, I've dealt with jealousy, I've dealt with horrible betrayal, and I've navigated through tons and tons of problems. The worst part, though, is when you suffer from your own consequences, from your own actions, that's one thing. You can accept it, you can do better, move on. But when you're hit from the consequences of other people around you, and you suffer those consequences and they don't seem to care because it didn't affect them directly, that's the level of selfishness I'm talking about. They're selfish, and the selfless person got hit with the consequences. So, what I learned was, without friends, you don't suffer those issues. And I've also learned that real friends will be thoughtful enough to think about how their actions will affect other people. So if I'm not around good people like that, and they don't care where their not confrontation, but their consequences land, or who it hits, they're not for me to be around. And since that seems to be the normal thing these days, that's why I'm okay with being alone. Totally fine with it. I'm going to be a little bit real here, dive in and be a little bit more vulnerable. I didn't have a friend who tried to better me. I didn't. I didn't have a friend devoted to making my life easier or making me happy. I have a friend who was so selfless that they would try their best to bring out the best in me. Didn't have it. I played mentor to all my friends. I played not the psychologist, but I did help with a lot of issues. And I brought out the best in them, where I tried. Unfortunately, there's only so much you can do as a guide. When these people have to make the hard decisions on their own, they tend to fail. They tend to flounder. They tend to sink. They don't have what it takes. So, as hard as that is, it's harder for me to watch helplessly. And I've been told, I wish I had your guardian angel. I wish I had your willpower. You could have it. It comes down to a choice you make, the kind of lifestyle you choose to have. You could choose wisdom, or you could choose to be selfish. No one's forcing you to choose one or the other. It's all laid out. Do you know how many paths there are in life to take, how many choices there are to make about how you want to be, how to build up your own character? There's so many. But more often than not, people choose to do things their way. When their way doesn't lead to peace, their way doesn't lead to salvation, their way doesn't lead to wisdom. Their way leads to regret, mistakes, broken hearts, and always getting hurt. And they only have themselves to blame. No one sabotaged them. They sabotage themselves. And why do they do that? Well, one could argue they don't have the moral standing, they don't have this, they don't have that, they don't have the self-confidence, the value that they're supposed to have. Sure. But it goes deeper. They don't love themselves. Love is a very important thing to have. And if you don't love who you are, you don't love the creation that God made, then all you're going to have is problems. God made me. He gave me this life. So my goal is to use it to honor Him and build myself up strong enough to be able to handle all of the burdens that comes with this life. It's easy to see someone struggle and criticize. It's easy to see someone not doing enough in your eyes to criticize them. But you don't know the hell they're dealing with. You don't know the pain. You don't know how they're choosing to deal with their issues. To judge means to not care. It's a heart issue. Sometimes people need a little bit more heart, a little less judgment. That's what I've learned. It's not easy dealing with people. But once you learn about somebody, you can learn how to navigate around them. or learn to not be around them at all. For those of us who have the confidence to say no, to walk away, to not care, to cut people out of our lives, it's not a weakness. It's a strength. The issue is how you do it and why. Did you cut that person out of your life because you were wrong and they were right? Did you cut that person out of your life because they were able to prove you wrong? Did you cut that person out of your life because they deserved it for not being there for you? See, it all depends on how you use these things. You can call them giftings, you can call them tools, you can call them whatever you want. The results are always going to be the same. You control your responses. Was your action warranted? Was it not? My grandmother always asked me, before you do something, do you think about, would you regret it? Yes, I do. If there's a choice that I gotta make, a crossroad, I think about, will I regret not doing this? Will I regret doing this? And whichever one benefits me the most, that's the one I do. There are some things you've got to learn in life. But you don't need to learn how it feels to have one of your digits sawed off with a saw during woodworking to know it's going to hurt. To know it's a bad idea. To say, well, I had to learn one way or the other, and I wanted to learn how to deal with life with 9 fingers. I don't get it. But there are some people out there like that. There are people out there who believe that they'll only learn the hard way, and that advice does not matter to them because they're so stubborn that they gotta figure it out for themselves. And so you watch a train wreck happen. So, these are just some of the things I've had to deal with. The jealousy came from not being able to handle situations like me, or not do things the way I would do them. And here's the thing, you're not built like me. You don't have my background. You don't have my pain, my suffering. You don't have my joy. You don't have the things that I have that make me who I am. You have what makes you who you are, and that should be good enough for you. It is important to find people that make you a better person. Yes, absolutely. Iron sharpens iron. It's fantastic to find. However, when you find somebody that sharpens you and challenges you and makes you into a better person, why resent them for that? Why resent them? Who cares if you don't handle it the way they would have? What matters is your growth as a person, your choices, and who you become. That's what matters. Are you satisfied with your work? Are you satisfied with your life? Are you satisfied with the way things are going for you? If not, why? Is it something that you've done? Or is it something that's been done to you? Or is it both? See, you have to think about cause and effect and what you're going to do next. That's why I'm doing this. It is my only option right now. I'll tell you why. In the Wired class conversation, I told you where I would end up in life based off of my skill sets, based off of how I'm designed. I am perfect for management. The problem is I would undo management and then rebuild it stronger, and they don't want that. They want it to stay corrupted. So, whenever I'm dealing with a situation at work with my boss or something, there's unfairness, there's something going on where he's mismanaging things that I know I could do a better job at, I'm kicked out. Why? Because I show him I can do better. And it's not an undermining thing. It's not a way to retaliate or get back at him. It's simply, I'm making everyone's lives easier. I was working for a boss that couldn't schedule on time. You can't manage a schedule for 4 people? So, yeah. Don't understand that. I don't get it. But when I can delegate, and I can take charge better than my boss can, and it gets good results, they don't reward you for that. They get rid of you for that. They get rid of you for that. They don't care that you're a decent worker. They don't care that you can make a better job at his job than him, but whatever, So, no. This is why my life is the way it is. Because I take charge. I belong in management. Do I want the job? No. No, I don't. Because I always have to answer to somebody. Now, being governor, I answer to the president. That's it. So, it means that I can handpick people. I can deal with the inside corruption, cut it all out. I can remodel everything and fix the state. So with that in mind, that's the best management job of all time for me. I don't want presidency. I don't want that. That's too much work. I just want a simple life of fixing the modern day people's problems, one issue at a time. So that's why I think I'm geared towards being governor. Because of my skill sets, because of who I am as a person, and because I believe I'm uncorruptible. Charlie Kirk said this: you want to see what a man's made of? Give him power. His true character will come out. I believe that wholeheartedly. This seems like the best move for me. The problem is I can't just go and become governor. There's a process. The process is getting my face out there, getting my ideas out there, and talking to people, which is why I'm doing this. Trying to get the ball rolling. I have 4 years to network with people, talk to people, and meet the citizens of the state and see how I can help them. That's what I'm doing. What are you up to? How many challenges are on your unchecked list? What are you running from? What are you afraid of? Why not make this year the year you overcome it? At least then you'll know your limitations. Better to have tried than not tried at all. Work on yourself. Love yourself. Forgive yourself. Become a better person. Become the person you needed growing up. You'll be happier. When you're happier, you're more confident. When you're more confident, good things happen. But again, so do bad things. For example, the workforce. They see self-confidence as a bad thing because they can't bully you. If you know the laws, and if they're breaking the laws, they can't bully you. In many jobs, both my dad, my mom, and I were the smartest people in the room. Why? Not because we understood the job or knew the job. It was ethics, morals, laws. We knew it. The problem is when your integrity is being challenged by a boss that doesn't have any. So, overall, these are the things I've dealt with, things I've witnessed, things I've gone through. And I'm sure many of you other people can relate. And if you can't, well, then maybe this video helped you understand people in your life. Maybe this video helped you understand about your friends that are selfless people. I always get a kick out of the fact that no one asks other people, why are you selfless? Why do you do this and this and this for me when I don't do the same for you? The answer may surprise you. See, I'm not a big fan of using people. I'm not a big fan of not caring about people's feelings or emotions. I put them into the equation and I accept them. Do I respect them? That varies. So, for me, being analytical and figuring things out, I do better with people who are, what's the word? What's the word for it? I've always used it. Anyway, the point is, I work better with people who are intellectual. That's the word, intellectual. Intellectual people are the people I get along with the most, if they apply the intellect correctly. What I mean by that is their manners. Do they come off as a know-it-all, a geek, or do they come off as a well-rounded, well-balanced person that I can learn from? See, intellectual means that they are intelligent human beings that not just practice what they preach, but they've also applied it for many years, and they know what works and what doesn't work, and they're not afraid to talk about it. People that are not intellectual tend to be very, well, shallow like a puddle, to be honest with you. But there are some people who are also intellectual that have that same issue. So it varies on how you apply what you've learned and who you are and your skills. Some people can put all of their skills into being a jerk because, hey, that's how they feel. And they've got all these different skill sets to back it up, but guess what? You're unlikable. Hate to break it to you, but you're not likable. And this job, this profession, you gotta be likable. So I try to get on here and be presentable, be likable, but I'm gonna be who I am. And the part about me you have to understand is I don't apologize for being who I am or the way that I am. You know why? Because it's not wrong. It's not wrong. I don't judge. I don't cause problems. I finish them. My confidence is I only get involved in fights I know I can win. So no, I don't pick fights. I stand up for those that need protecting, sure. Because that's a fight I know I can win, or a fight that's more honorable. I've always stood up to bullies. I've always done that. See, I was always the bully's bully. That's how I used to phrase it. This is a new year. Be adventurous. Be different. Be proud of who you are. Unless you're not a good person. Common sense. What I get a kick out of, though, is the people that say, I know I'm not a good person, but I'm the one you're going to call when you need something done right. Yeah, okay. I can understand that. It's the people that have the self-awareness to know they're not likable, but they're the ones you need. And as long as they are respectful or they're important enough, then there you go. But like I said, it comes down to circumstance and how you apply certain things. I know I'm not likable because I'm not for everybody. Some people will like me because of this or that. Other people will hate me because of those same things. So you can't make everybody happy. So why try? Why try? The people that want to be happy with you will always be happy with you. The people that choose not to be happy with you, they'll never be happy with you. So there's no point in trying to win everybody over when you can't make everybody happy. All you can do is make the people happy that want to be happy, that want you to make them happy. It's that simple. I don't lose sleep at night when somebody that doesn't like me or I don't like them isn't happy with me. I don't care. I'll lose sleep if I made a mistake and hurt somebody that I care about. That's the difference. If I don't care about you, however, because of my nature, when I have made a mistake and I've hurt somebody that I didn't mean to hurt, okay, either with some words or I dismissed them and didn't mean to, I would always come up to them and apologize when I got the chance to. And it usually took a few days for reflection to hit. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. But then, when I apologize, I've always gotten the, oh, dude, forget about it. I forgot you even did that. So here I am thinking I'm a bad person or I did something wrong because it was an accident. And I remember it. It haunts me. I ask for forgiveness. And the guy doesn't remember that I did that. So I stopped apologizing. I stopped bringing up those awkward moments and just decided to go, you know what? Lord, you know the situation. You know what happened. Please forgive me. And I pray that they forgive me too. Even if they don't remember I did that. So, yeah, I tend not to overthink it and not care too much anymore. So, it was funny but awkward. But because I try to do the right thing, even if it's not easy, I went on my way and did the right thing. There are many things I can say that I've done that people can't say they've done. I mean, they can, but they'd be lying. Because they don't have the kind of character I have. And that's a fact. That's the truth. It's not about an ego thing. That's just reality. I've been the bigger person for a long time, trying to do what's right, set the kind of example, even when someone treats me poorly, and I treat them really good. That's an example of my character and not being affected by them. And that's how I see it. And that's how I've seen it. I've been treated myself. However, that's also circumstantial. I don't do it for everybody. I do it for certain people to teach them a certain lesson that I believe that they'll learn in the future. That's what I do. So, yeah. The next one I'll do is on command, because I think that one's also important for you guys to understand how that works and how it's both worked with me and against me. But yeah, these are fun. I enjoyed diving into this one. This one was on my mind, so I'm like, I'll just do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, liked it. Hopefully you could relate to it, or it helped you better understand certain people in your life and what they go through and what they might have experienced. All right, take care.